And we are live. Woo woo. Going live at 3:33. This is my first live of this new year, according to the Gregorian Calendar. It feels very new and fresh and exciting. We also have a full moon in Cancer with all this Capricorn energy happening right now. So it feels very exciting. And I'm gonna go live right now with my sister Nishanti to share some magic that has been unraveling in her story. So let me see how I can add her here. Yay!
Hello, good morning.
Hello!
Hi.
And here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Whew, here we are.
Oh, this feels good and exciting and just normal and relaxing at this point. Yeah, I'm really happy that at least this is my first live this year, and I'm excited to dive in with you and to share a little bit of this magic and these processes of transformation that have been going on lately, and what are like the golden nuggets and the transformations and the blessings that came from that.
Awesome. Yes, it's a new year. It's also my first live, and it's great to be sharing some of what has been happening and the initiations that I've been receiving. So, yeah, I'm excited.
So just for to let everyone know, this is my sister Nishanti. We have known each other for a while, and we have co-created and weaved our magic together before. And we're coming together again to weave magic in a whole new level. I've talked about this before here. Nishanti is the creator and the facilitator of the Goddess Rising Collective, which is a beautiful energetic container for sisterhood and magic that I joined last year, and I'm now helping co-facilitate. So there's a lot of magic weaving between us. She's a Capricorn, I'm a Capricorn. Like it's almost both our birthdays. Like it's magical. So I'm really excited to be here right now with you and to just give you like the space to share whatever feels comfortable for you right now, and to just hold you there and to celebrate you so much for all the magic that you've been weaving and that you've transformed through the fire of the alchemy that you've just been through. So I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, let me just share a little bit of the story that has been unfolding around Christmas time, actually. I just moved to Tulum at the beginning of December. So yeah, new community, new people, and I was still getting my feet like grounded. And in the meantime, I had a session scheduled to receive myself from beautiful Maddie. And that was a big initiation. And the first thing that was actually appearing in my field was that I started to shut down, kind of also between the weaving of the both of us together and our relationship, because now it was my time to receive, and that was challenging. So what sometimes happens when I need to stay heart centered to receive the love and the support and everything that's out there, I kind of, it's a pattern from the past, let's say past versions, like old identities that I would start pushing people away. and with all the energetics that were unfolding, and yeah, us also co-creating together within the Goddess Rising Collective and everything that's coming with that. There was a point that I was like, okay, I don't know how to continue certain things, and then we had a beautiful conversation, and we decided let's receive a session, and we had a first call, and it was already like the first hour. It was more like I was gifting, and then we went into 3 hours where I was receiving, and I was already like activated for the initiation the next day. And there was a little bit of impatience from my side because I strongly felt I wanted to receive that session earlier, but the energetics and the universe was just weaving in a way that that was not unfolding. And now it makes a lot of sense. But back then, the human in me was very impatient and was very like almost like a little child, like, but I want this now and it's all not working, right? The little girl in me. So on that specific day, I think it was a Friday, I had a beautiful initiation. It was a beautiful activation. And at the end of this session, Maddie kept repeating, like, I kid you not, it felt like 1,000 times. And still I didn't receive the message, right? She kept repeating, like, you need to slow down. So what are you going to do this evening? Like, yeah, I think I will just stay in. And it started like that. I will just take the time for myself. I had an invite to go to the beach for a walk. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay in. So after a couple of minutes, I was at the point like, I'm even going to order food so that I can have my dinner in. And that's really unlike me. So I was like, no, I don't feel like cooking. Like, let's order in food. So I was at that space that I felt my body needs rest. Maddie kept repeating that. Like, it was just her channel was open, and it was just a message from my family and hers. Like, Nishanti, you need to sit fuck down and relax and chill and don't do anything up until we meet tomorrow again, right? The message was really clear, and for that evening I was like surrendering, and I was like just laying in this beautiful chamber, like a healing chamber. My family, my council of light was there. I could feel Maddie's energy present, and yeah, we were working with past lives from ancient Egypt and deeply rooted trauma there, and Atlantis. So there was a lot shifting in the quantum, there was a lot shifting in the field, also in my body. So then the next morning, I'm waking up a little bit impatient, but also excited. And in my mind, I was supposed to meet Maddie at 1 p.m. And I needed to get water. And I know I need to stay hydrated in sessions like these. Also, when I facilitate myself, water is my biggest friend because it's keeping me grounded, right? And I didn't have any water. And in Mexico, you can't drink the tap water. So I had to go out to get water. So that was the intention. So I woke up, I was like, I'm not going to do a lot. Only thing I will do is get some water. I wake up and I almost slipped already in my bedroom. I almost already fell when I stepped out of the bed. That was my first warning sign. That was my soul telling me, like, Shanti, maybe you should just return and go back to bed up until you meet Maddie. Of course, I didn't listen, so I took a shower. Then I went outside, I jumped on my scooter, and I almost slipped. I didn't even left the place yet, and I almost fell already with the scooter, right? That was the second sign of my soul and my team warning me, turn around, go inside and take a chill pill. The water is fine. You still have a little bit of water. You're gonna survive this. So, like, easy. But of course, I didn't listen. So I jumped on the scooter. I went to the petrol station because it's like, okay, let's fill it up. I don't know what I'm going to do with Christmas. So then I can have, yeah, all the freedom to do what I want. And then I was like, okay, should I go to the supermarket and get some snacks and water? Walked into the supermarket on the 24th of December, super busy. So I turned around. Then it crossed my mind. These are just all the different timelines, right? That's why I'm going so in depth, because it's like a build-up. So then it crossed my mind, oh, should I get like a smoothie somewhere? Because I can feel my body needs that nourishment. And no, I didn't do that. I continued up my scooter, went back home, That was the intention. Still didn't have water. It's important. I still didn't have water. And on my way home to another supermarket, I fell with my scooter. And everything was messed up, and it was not really bad. Honestly, it was not even about the pain itself. It was more about receiving support. So I was in a vortex actually for 2 days, where I should have been honoring my body, and I should have been honoring the rest and the surrender and the trust that not needing to do anything is still okay. And yeah, when the accident happened, I was kind of okay, but I know these things, like then the panic kicks in. So then like I get really hot and then I get cold. So I was sitting down and there were a lot of people helping me, which was great. So I was sitting there, and then I had to phone someone. So I phoned my cousin to support, and then the panic came in. So it was really like I couldn't breathe. And this is also important. I couldn't breathe. It was really around my throat. It was my throat which was the most painful in that moment. Like it was like I was being like, ugh, this was happening. So that was obviously the panic. I went back home. A beautiful taxi helped me. Was like awesome. I left this hotel, and I had some wounds, like open wounds on my leg, on my left, of course, as always, but this time around also on the right side. So then I saw, when I arrived back home, I saw all these missed phone calls from Maddie, and I was like, oh, what's happening? And then I reminded myself through the messages of Maddie that our appointment was actually at 11 a.m. So it was a complete mess up of like time. There's no time, of course, but the linear time that I had wrong. And then me just pushing through the whole morning for some water and not listening to all the signs, and then seeing all these different timelines. If I would have waited in the supermarket, could have been a different timeline that I anchored in. If I would have gone for the smoothie, it could have been a different timeline. If I would have turned around the first time that I slipped, I would have stayed in bed. If I would have turned around, like when I almost fell the first time with the scooter, I would have never left my place. So there are these infinite timelines constantly, and I see all those timelines, right? They're very visual. But sometimes there was this old limiting false code that came to the surface, actually the specific times very present, that there was a belief still within me that I needed to suffer through physical pain in order to ascend, in order to grow, in order to evolve. And that was so deeply rooted because this is a returning pattern. Like it was only 6 months prior that I fell in Costa Rica, and I was also knocked out for a couple of weeks. So it's that pattern of my body needing to suffer. So the moment I can step into something new, and like I mentioned, I just moved to Tulum. So I'm opening this whole new playground and anchoring in complete new grids. And it's exciting and it's beautiful and it's uplifting. So the moment that happens, my body was like, ooh, that's scary. And at the same time, then the pain that I'm so used to because of the past trauma of my inner child, because of past lives, the physical pain, suffering, and I'm used to that. So that's actually more familiar and safer in a sense than the new. So I again manifested physical pain in my body. And what came through afterwards was so beautiful because that specific night, my leg didn't hurt. And normally I work with plants a lot, so I would have taken some plant medicine or cannabis, and I didn't do this in this instance because the pain was not even present. But that night, my throat was burning. My throat and the activation that I was supposed to receive from Maddie was a throat opening, was a heart expanding initiation and activation. So that also gained me the insight and the lesson that whatever we need to release through our body and all different layers, like physical body, emotional body, doesn't matter. We will release, but we do not need to suffer, because the suffering and the physical pain was in this case on my legs and on my hip. And it wasn't the throat, but still It was the throat that was burning. It was the throat that was so sore that night. I was so painful. So that which became visible to me was so powerful in a sense, because it made it very clear that I myself, as the quantum creator, kept myself still in loops of pain and suffering the moment I started to fly off, because who that I do know. And I had to experience this one more time. Apparently, it was part of this big initiation to let go of that old identity and to really see it for what it is, and then choosing, like, I don't need to suffer in physical pain in order to grow and evolve in a sense. And that code became very visible. It was very present in my field. So that's one of the codes that I've been really alchemizing and really working with. Like, it has been a big topic for me, like throughout my whole journey, but now even more anchoring into that inner knowing of we don't need to suffer, absolutely not, and especially not through physical pain. So yeah, that was a little bit of the story, and it was all quite unpacked. There are more golden nuggets in there, even in terms of receiving support and help. So maybe, Maddie, you can tap in there, or whatever's flowing for you right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just first, I just want to take a breath and just, oh, that was a lot. And what was a lot is not the story, is actually what happened. Um, so it's like you condensed all these challenges and all these blessings and insights in this conversation right now, but it goes so deep. And yeah, that's also what I want to bring forth, those diamonds, those nuggets of wisdom and of insight that came from that experience. Um, and there's so many. It's asking for help. As someone who is usually the one facilitating, also asking for support and help, or to receive something as well. And I know you're also receiving in other containers, but this was present in this situation for a reason. So it was the asking for help and asking to activate, and then receiving the support, knowing you are held, feeling that you are held and seen and honored, and just not alone, and that it's okay for you to go through the alchemy that you're gonna go through, that there's a hand there just holding you, like that you're safe, and that's okay to transform and to expand into something else. um and sometimes in our lives, when we call for or are just ready for these major metamorphoses and upgrades and alchemies, sometimes we go through the fire, and sometimes we can make it easier on ourselves, like you were sharing. Maybe when you sleep, maybe you could have just taken and not go out, and then you received another tiny hint, and you still kept going, and that's okay. Sometimes we make it a little harder on ourselves, but even if that's true, it's freaking perfect, because that's like how big the alchemy was asking for. So so
And
whatever. Yeah,
yeah, what I would like to add is actually that Maddie gave me a couple of options in terms of timelines that I could choose
yeah,
from, right? This is important. And this is how we see, like both of us see the different timelines. Like I mentioned as well, these things where I could have made other decisions. So in that sense, Maddie gave me the option, like, okay, tomorrow we can have like one long session, and that will be deep and that will be intense, and we will be alchemizing a lot, and it will be beautiful, but it will be a couple of hours. Or another timeline would be, like we are going to split this in a couple of sessions, like 3 sessions. I'm spreading that in like a week or whenever it feels aligned for me and my body, and yeah, to make it more graceful and to allow it to flow more, right? So the high achiever within me and the old version and identity, which is at times still hard on ourselves, wanting to do it all at once, right? Because I know I can, and that's the quickest way. I know it's the quickest way. Is it the most loving way? I'm not so sure. Like, I believed it always to be the most loving way. I don't believe that anymore, just through the experiences that I went through and manifested myself. So I chose the long session. And apparently this all falling with the scooter and the physical pain was part of that to really stop me, because it was so intense. And I consciously made the decision, like as a human but also as a soul, to do it the hard way. I didn't choose the timeline where we would split these 3 sessions over a given week, or maybe 2 weeks or longer if necessary. So that's important, I feel, to add to your story, Maddie, because like there were already so many different options, and still it's our choosing as the quantum creator. It's our free will, it's our sovereignty, like who is making those choices in the moment, and then still trusting, like you said as well, which was more difficult for me in the moments that I was unfolding, that this is divine, that this is exactly how it needed to unfold in that moment. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Because I was not going to mention that, and that's also so relevant and so beautiful, because there was the option of doing this slower and more gently, and what you received was, no, I'm ready, let's do this. And that was perfect and courageous and brave, you know. And so it's like, you ask for it, you're gonna get it, you know.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
sometimes it's gonna hurt, because before it gets beautiful, just like the butterfly, like in the cocoon, maybe it's not like super comfortable there, and you feel a little bit restricted, and your wings are growing, everything is gooey and all of that. But when you come out, it's so fucking worth it, even if it was so hard while it was happening. And so knowing that either way it would be divine, whether you have chosen one timeline or another, but because you chose that, there was a major, major, major upgrade that took place. And so just to give another hint that I think is funny. So the session that we had planned was light language activation, to activate your own light language, and we were gonna go back into some timelines and some lifetimes, just to clear some stuff that might be blocking that, or making that harder to flow through or to express. And like it's so hilarious, because we didn't even do anything, but actually we did it all. But what we did, it's not like we did the session and I shared light language and we did like all these things. It just happened kind of by itself. So you choosing to go through that, we didn't even need to actually have a session for the energy to start moving. And that's crazy and powerful and hilarious. Oh my god. um there's still so many beautiful things that I would like to touch on. Yeah, like sometimes, and again, I want to play with the energetics, and again, take what resonates and leave the rest of the energetics with the Capricorn and all this Capricorn energy. Both of Capricorns, we know what it is like to want to achieve and climb the mountain and accomplish things, and like do, and I know I can do it, and like I can do it all, and I can climb the mountain and do all these things. And that's beautiful and powerful and necessary to create change and movement. And at the same time, you need the nurturing. And we are now under a full moon in Cancer, the first full moon of the year, in the opposite side of Capricorn. And it's about also this nurturance and this self-care, and not only having our desires and projections outwards, but also how am I accomplishing those goals within my body, my self-love, my routine, my home, my life. Do I take care of myself? And so sometimes when we are ready for major shifts, something needs to stop so that we really have a time to rest and recover. And we both know many people who have gone through major upgrades like this, where something happens in your physical reality that is so relevant that it makes you not be able to move for a while. And that helps the old realities and the old thoughts and the old feelings and the old patterns and structures to slow down, so we can be ready to integrate what is to come. So all these new energetics. And for this is for everyone, but for someone who is showing up online and facilitating and holding space for others and doing energetic work and all of that, it's so important that we also learn how to take care of ourselves, and also be able to receive, because as we are always giving and holding space and emanating our energy outwards, we also, there's also a time and space for us to receive and integrate and rest and ask for support and whatever it is, knowing that it's all part of it. So the other, like, one of the most beautiful nuggets that you shared with me that I would love to touch upon again, it's the honoring of our light when we are sharing energy and holding space for others, but also holding and honoring our human and these denser energies, denser emotions, denser patterns that come up. And how can we like honor both of that and really enjoy our human experience, which is so beautiful and expansive and multidimensional, that we get to feel all these emotions and all these frequencies and timelines, and there's so much richness and abundance that we can experience. So I love that nugget of honoring our human and honoring the shadow, the sadness, the frustration when it comes up. Because when we honor it in the moment, then automatically we shift out of it. Like we cry it out, we share it with a friend, we listen to some music, we scream it, we shake, we do whatever it is in the moment, and then it's alchemized and we can move forward and play. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's so relevant. And that's where specifically I see myself sometimes going and going and going and leaning in not enough into the rest and into tending to my human aspect in terms of what is my body needing. And that's also, I guess, why I ended in that situation where I was literally sleeping for 4 days in a row after the incident happened. And now still my knee is healing very slowly, and I know that has a reason, because it is to keep me in that slow pace. It's like when I do something in the morning, and I started my morning practices again and the movements, because that's just working for me. And also in terms of healing, I know it will improve the healing process. But that being said, when I do some work in the morning, I need to sleep still every single day in the afternoon. Like around 2 or 3 p.m., I'm knocked out, and I'm like, okay, I need to go home now, or I need to go to bed now and sleep for a couple of hours. And that's my body still telling me, like, he's still integrating. And that's one of the reasons why I feel the knee is healing a little bit slower, because this is what I need in the moment. And apparently I had to see it in this way, because I I am in the embodiment of learning to honor my body in that way, that I don't need to create that physical pain. And I just learn, like, okay, you know what? I actually need to go home now. I need to sleep. This has been enough. And also, as a projector, I'm a projector in human design. I need a lot of time alone, and I always honor that. But it's for me much more also now again in fine tuning, like this upgrade and fine tuning. Now how can I balance it even more? How can I navigate it with even more precision, to honor the feminine, to honor the masculine, and that my inner child and all that I am, and that we are in multidimensional levels can flow with ease, with grace, with compassion for our human, for our body, for our soul, for our team, for our guides, because that's actually where we bring in the pleasure. That's how we can become the witness, and we are writing our own scripts. And it goes hand in hand with in that way with leadership, and knowing, like, okay, when to step back and when to step forward, and honoring the energetics that are playing out in the fields and within our bodies at the same time. And that has been a big, yeah, initiation again, once again, to go to deeper depths. That's what we're doing, right? Each time when something like this unfolds in our physical realities, it's just an eye-opener to see new things, to see things that prior weren't visible in that way or in those depths. And that's how we keep evolving, that's how we keep ascending. And when we make those journeys fun, even though they aren't always fun in the moment, life becomes so much more joyful and lighter. And it's the heaviness, we are actually leaving the heaviness behind us, because it doesn't need to feel heavy. Even when something like this happens, it doesn't need to feel heavy, because we decide how heavy we allow it to become, and how present we allow it to become, and what we are taking out of it. And yeah, that has been a beautiful journey again. And yeah, the fact that I'm still sleeping every single day, much more than normally, for me is a sign, exactly what you were saying, to tend to my human, to give my body still more rest because it is needed.
Oh, it's like I can see and feel like all these codes and all these nuggets that are already fully present and visible in this conversation, and others that are just cocoons. And we we will dive into another time. But wow, like really, life gets lifey, and sometimes things kind of need to shake for us to stop and to redirect our focus, and we can make it as hard on ourselves or as easy as we want. Um, and it's so beautiful uh, for anyone who is creating something, holding space as an artist, as a facilitator, as a coach, like whatever it is, to allow ourselves to be with ourselves and to go through those alchemical processes again and again and again and again. And it gets deeper, and sometimes it gets, we go a little lower and it's a little harder, but we always come back lighter and with more clarity and more joy. um, and it's so important for us to have those moments to allow the energies to reveal themselves to us, because now, because you stopped, you have more spaciousness in your mind and in your body and in your reality to receive the downloads and the insights of what your next creations will be. And so sometimes for us to receive that inspiration, we need the void, we need the womb, we need the feminine, we need the darkness where there's nothing like from outside, but ourselves, our bodies, our minds, and our connection with the universe, source, ourselves, whatever you want to call it or perceive it as. And that's where the magic happens. That's how we plant seeds, right? And naturally, when you feel ready, you naturally just come back again. And everyone is like, whoa, where have you been? What happened? Like, I felt you. I don't know what happened, but I felt you. Like, whoa. And I'm here with you. And like, the more we also like honor all these processes, we honor that we are on earth, we are humans, we are multidimensional. This is all an illusion, but this is also a game, and we are the creators who choosing how we want to play. And the more we accept that there are from time to time these activations, these initiations, these alchemical processes, but that's beautiful. Like, allow yourself to become the caterpillar over and over again, and to go into the cocoon and to be in your own goo and dissolve and be there in the void where you don't know what's coming next. Because when you don't know, that means like the not knowing means that you're no longer too much attached to the memories of the past, and you're finally allowing space to connect with the visions of the present and of the future. And just naturally life takes us through these periods where right now you're supposed to be a caterpillar. Right now, you're supposed to be in the cocoon. Right now, you're supposed to be a butterfly and just fly everywhere and just shine your light and find the other butterflies, you know? And the more we honor all these fluctuations and changes, the easier it is for us, right? Life is always changing, and sometimes it's more comfortable for us to keep ourselves stuck where it's uncomfortable, but because it's familiar, we accept it and we tolerate it, and we kind of even want more of it because we know it, so it's safe. Like, I already know how hurting myself feels like, so let me stay there because at least I know what that is. I know I can go through it. But sometimes the unknown, it's like, oh, actually I have no idea. Actually, this is completely new. Actually, right now I have, like, sometimes we can see the timelines and we can see our future and we can see these things that we will do, and we can visualize and feel into that. And sometimes there's just silence. Sometimes there's nothing. And when there's nothing, that's also something. So listen to that silence, be in that not knowing, surrender to that, and naturally life, yourself will transform again into the butterfly. So just honoring all these cycles and all these initiations and processes just makes it easier. And as I share my processes with you and you share your processes with me, we're like, oh, I'm not the only one. Oh, thank God. Like, I thought I was the only one. Like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Like, we all go through it, whether it's someone you really look up to, or someone maybe that is living a life that you really love, or someone who is really on another level that doesn't resonate with you. We all go through these things together, and the more we are okay with that, with ourselves and for ourselves, and the more we show others it's okay, it's easier to shift. When it's like, oh, Nishanti also goes through that, then, oh, maybe I don't need to put all that pressure on myself. Like, oh, that person also goes through that, then maybe I can relax and just make it easier on myself. And then we can come together and support each other, and all hold hands and rise to a different level.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that and placing that into the field. And that's so right. And I think here it often also comes back to the receiving part in a way. Like when we are in the void, we are often cocooning, and it's the moments where we completely within ourselves, in our own space. And for me personally, it was challenging whilst I was in that void that we shared about, to now allow in the support that is available. That was one of the biggest lessons that I was initiated in. Like, oh, I actually do not have to do this myself. And I'm very good at facilitating that space for others, but to receive that myself, that was where still the challenge was, in the sense of, okay, like, I can do this, I'm allowed to receive this too. And the void can be so scary, and at the same time, it's so powerful, like Maddie is saying, that we share more of that in a way that we know that we are all going through it. And that it's not unusual, that it's very normal actually, and that we are all very powerful beings that can navigate this, instead of like always like, yeah, being on the highs of life, which is beautiful too. This is part of our journey, and this is part of how we are ascending and how we are growing. And it's because at times we are feeling so alone in it, right? It's because we have a feeling sometimes like, am I the only one going through this? Is this only for me that it's so dark at times? Or are other people also going through that darkness from time to time, and that shadow of the night from time to time? And it happens to all of us, and it's not even happening to us. We are like, we are alchemizing all those energetics, all those lower frequencies as we are facing them. So we should be honoring ourselves and everyone who's doing this work so much, because this is how we are uplifting humanity. This is how Earth and how we are supporting Earth to ascend. This is how we are ascending ourselves. So I love the fact that you're bringing in that. Yeah, it feels really even maybe more necessary to share more that this is okay. This is okay to go through, and how we are doing that, and in what depth and what depths we are sharing that. That's to everyone themselves. Like, some people will be more comfortable in sharing certain aspects of their journey, and others keep it more maybe within their private life or within their containers, or that doesn't matter. That's again where you, as the content creator, where we all decide like, okay, this is how I am going to show up. But I feel right now it's very important, at least to me, to show up in those ways and to share like all of it, because it's so valid for every one of us.
Mhm. And again, it's all part of the journey. The beautiful, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's all part of it. And like, like with social media and with everything, sometimes we only and it's all perfect. Like, whatever you feel called to share, it's perfect and it's okay, and it will inspire someone and add value one way or another. So, but sometimes in social media, we feel like more called to share our magic and our light and our moments where we feel amazing, and we feel like super connected and inspired and all of that. Um, but that also means that sometimes we might all be going through some major challenges that we don't feel okay to share, and that makes us feel alone and, how do you say, alienated. um but actually, when we if this resonates, when we start coming up more real, more transparent, more human and multidimensional, all of it and none of it, because again, yes, I am all of this and I am none of this. I am my story and I'm not my story. I experience these emotions and these thoughts, my life, but it doesn't belong to me, not even this body. But this is where I'm habitating, right? And the more we honor all these aspects of our lives, the more we also give others permission to show up as they are, and to know that right now you're freaking perfect. Not just when you heal this thing, or when you accomplish that goal, or when you're doing that, or when you have this money in your bank account, or whatever. No, actually, right now you're freaking perfect. Perfect. And right now, as you are worthy of everything you desire. right now, without any need to shift or get better or accomplish anything. Just honoring that right now you're worthy, right now you're perfect, right now you're loved, right now you're held, right now you're seen. Whether you are in your highest or in your lowest, you're held, you're loved. There's no judgment. It's only us as humans that judge uh, me having a good day and a bad day, or a good moment or a bad moment. But it's all parts of it. It's like the tides coming and going. And the more and this is like what I've been feeling for myself in the last, I don't know, 3 years. um that I want to be more real. I want to be even more real, even more authentic, even more me. Just me. And being me means that, yeah, I speak light language and I draw and I dance and all of that. And I also go through my own stuff, and I'm human and I feel these emotions, and I'm navigating that, and like that brings me so much freedom that I don't only allow myself to show up when I feel like I'm great and aligned and perfect and like, whoa, super amazing. No, actually, it's okay to show up right here, right now, even if I say a word wrong, or if I forgot what I was saying, or I'm crying. Like, it's okay. And like, sometimes it's not just your light that inspires others, it's also when you show up in your vulnerability. That also helps a lot and inspires a lot. And and for anyone tuning in to this live right now, me and Ishanti, in the end of last year, we recorded a live on her channel where I was sharing my own shit that I was going through at that time. And so if you want to go check that out, you have like two examples of um, one of us kind of holding space and almost like interviewing or being there for the other one to share. Um, and how it's okay, we go through it and we shift fast, and it's perfect, and you're welcomed as you are. And that's also what I wanted to offer myself, yourself, and everyone watching, that it's okay. You don't need to hide those uncomfortable moments, but it's okay if you want to hide. It's totally okay. But that you're safe, that it's okay, that we are all going through it together. uh, we can be ourselves, and ourselves doesn't mean only one part of me. It's actually all of it, and none of it is just showing up. It's just being me, which is as natural as breathing, as being alive. Sometimes that might be crying, sometimes that might be laughing and dancing, but it's all okay. It's all welcomed, it's all loved. And that's like what I wanted to remind us and feel and welcome right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful as well, because often when we are in the void, right, we are not feeling comfortable in sharing that, because that's where we are most vulnerable, right? That's where we are at our lowest or facing our deepest shadows. So where we normally like contracting back into ourselves, into our cocoon. So I think that there's so much power and inspiration in a way of sharing those stories, and we do not need to share those stories if it doesn't feel aligned. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
we also do not need to share these stories in the moment. We can choose to like go through it, and then when we share, we already also have the nuggets and the alchemizing process of like, hey guys, I just went through this major experience and it was like crazy like shit, but yeah, this is like how I alchemized it. This is how I yeah, went through the other side and came out even more like brightful and happy and expanded. And there are so many ways, and I think each time we again making the choice as sovereign beings, like, okay, what do I want to do with this? What's serving me and my highest alignment? But also when we are serving others, and especially for coaches and practitioners and mentors, like, how can this serve my marketplace, or how can this serve my clients, like in what way, because it is through our own experiences that we actually sharing our codexes, that we sharing our wisdom. It's through that, it's not through the books. It's what we have been experiencing and what we have been going through in daily life, and the ways that we have been alchemizing it when we were in the void, or sometimes when we are in the void. That's where the golden nugget lays. So it's then also up to us, like, okay, how do I want to play with this? How do I want to make this fun, not only for me, first of all, for ourselves, of course, but also for others around us? Because this is where the mushroom effect is happening, where we like light up more lights and light and light and light in everyone. And yeah, that's just so powerful. It's one of the things that I love doing most. And it's challenging to show up as our unapologetic selves, because there's so many like voices in our heads, there's so many false codes, there's so many limiting beliefs that keep telling us like, no, I can't do that, no, 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 no. So what if you would say yes to all of those things? Yes to being all that we are as a human and as beings of light. I think it would change the world in such a beautiful ways. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing back the also that because I was sharing like it's okay to be transparent and to show up as you are. And thank you for bringing back also that you don't have to show up for anyone. You don't have to do anything that doesn't feel good for you. So if what you need is actually to cocoon and to delete social media for a month, or like whatever it is that you need to do, it's freaking okay. And there's no judgment and no comparison there. There's no comparison, because what you're going through, even if like we both had the exact same thing happen to us, it would be different because of our past and our personalities and everything else, you know. And so like, oh, it's so also so funny, like we're not at all just giving advice to anyone. We're just showing up at ourselves and sharing our process and allowing others to be inspired by that if that resonates. But there's no advice, there's no hierarchy, there's none of that. There we are just people sharing, you know. And honoring ourselves most and foremost is what's most important. So even if we are, for example, in a container, and the same so imagine like we are in the container and we do a challenge where it's a challenge where for 30 days we post one post a day on social media, whatever. Maybe that fully resonates with someone and maybe it just doesn't, but in other days it doesn't. And there's no comparison, competition, or judgment. It's just you and your own journey, and you get to choose and play how you like it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so important. It's so important. And that comes back actually to taking the judgment out of it, to just sharing like what has worked for us. That's what we are doing, right? We're sharing what has helped us as individuals, as human, as souls. And then everyone, and yeah, again, as a sovereign being, chooses like, okay, this feels aligned, I'm gonna give that a try or not. And that's, we choose the choice. Like the choice is so important. We choose what we play with, where we play, with whom we play, how we navigate. And once we are becoming aware that it is our choice, once we activate that within ourselves, within our bodies, within our quantum, and then once we start to integrate and embody that knowing, that's where the real honoring of this human experience is going to a complete new level again, because it really then becomes play. It is play. it's no longer life is like happening to me. No, it's like I'm creating life. And I know that my frequency is my currency. So, whoa, that gives me so much power, you know? Just by knowing all that we know, like I know how to recalibrate my field. I know I need to dance, I need to sing, or I need to move, whatever it is, to bring in that pleasure aspect. Because we have forgotten that. And then when we are in the voids, like for me personally, I saw myself like in the past couple of days still at times freezing. Like we either run, we freeze, right? There's so many ways. So freezing, what that means to me is that I'm sleeping a lot. I'm postponing things. I am not eating the healthiest foods, still healthy if I would compare it to how it once was, but still, there are these things where I'm, oh, doing this. And the moment that becomes visible to me, then the choice is there again. So for a couple of days, this pattern was not visible. I was just in freeze mode, seeing myself laying in my bed, like way too much, not doing anything that I felt called to start doing again, but I kept postponing. Or let me just watch this and get distracted again. That's okay. That's part of that human experience. But then again, once it's becoming visible in my fields, then that's where the power lays for me personally, because then it's becoming a choice. Okay, this is what's happening. Am I going to continue this, or am I making a different choice today and I'm leaving and going to the beach in the morning to do my yoga practice? Or if I can't do that yet, I'm just going to the beach and meditate and get myself out of it. So that's where we play with what is visible in that moment. And when we are in the void, nothing is visible. We literally in the unknown. We literally like, I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going to be next month. I don't know what my next service offering is going to look like, because it's all blurry. And then in those moments we are growing the most. In those moments, like it's like, again, like you mentioned, we're walking through the fire. It's like, and then one day again, it's there. And for me, I feel very in tune with my body. I'm not there yet. I'm still walking through it in a way. It's lighter, but the clarity is not completely there yet. And I'm okay with that too. It's fine, because I know, like you mentioned, it's gonna be there again. And this is where we tap in and we tap out, and we choosing like, okay, I can open this portal now to play there because I need to do some alchemizing and I need to do some work. But I can also close that portal again and come back into 5D or 4D me, and I'm now gonna have like a beautiful afternoon and I'm going to aesthetic dance on the beach just because I can, and because I also need that. And then I come back again and I need to open that portal because there's still some codes and density and pain in the body that I need to tend to. So we play, we constantly play. I think that's it, the playing part. Like the pleasure, the fun, the joy, the feeling and the knowing and the embodiment, it's my choice. I am creating. And again, we can only see that and feel that and embody that when it's appearing in our fields. And in the void, it's often we do not see the choices because they're not there, or they're like too overwhelming. It doesn't matter. So then it's that point where we like take that rest, where we go back to ourselves. And also, I really, really would like to, I know I'm looping, but this is just such an important aspect for myself because it has been challenging, to ask for support, to ask for what we are needing in those moments, even if it's making us feel uncomfortable, even if we think it's too much for someone else to hold. We require to learn that the people that are there in our field, they can hold us. And if not, we will experience that too, and we can hold ourselves. But to open ourselves up, that we do not need to do this alone, that we are all walking each other home, all of us. And that's such a major shift, and which is actually bringing us in a sense also to the sisterhood wounds,
Yeah.
to the wounds between sisters, between competition, between looking at each other instead of embracing each other and celebrating each other and holding the space for each other. And that wound is going deep, right? That's going back to past lives through our lineage. It's like, it's not just this lifetime that we're working with, it's so much more, but still our human in this now moment is alchemizing all of it. So yeah, sometimes we do need the rest. Sometimes we do need to make the decision, I'm going for that smoothie now, even though I can do this and this and this now. I'm not doing that. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing my body. And I'm honoring what I'm feeling in the moments. In the moment, that's also so important. Staying present in the moment, not losing ourselves in the past, not losing ourselves in the worries of tomorrow and future timelines of the unknown. What happens if we just stay here? Well, here, everything is beautiful. In this now moment, everything is perfect. And when we stay in that now and that present moment much more, we will see that every moment is quite perfect. So the help and the openness, like, isn't the ascension all about like opening our heart? That's how I experience it. It's about opening our heart to receive more, to receive more of this earth experience, to receive more love, to receive more light codes, to be the embodiment of who we are in our totality. And that keeps evolving. And that's where we keep opening our hearts and sometimes tiptoe, like, oh, I opened a little bit too much. This is feeling overwhelming. What the fuck? Oh, I'm closing a little bit. But it was actually quite fun. So let me open again. And this is what we do constantly.
Oh, there's so many things there, but I know we will share more in other conversations. But there was so much there, so much there. I love the last part that you just shared, that we weave in the moment. So not to like, yes, we have things from the past and we have visions, expectations, and things from the future, but we live in the moment. And in the moment, it's when we decide if it feels good to show up or it feels good to rest. If it feels good to go out of the house or to actually stay in. If it feels good. So, for example, one day I might feel that it's okay to I don't really watch movies, but like one day I might feel that it's okay to watch a movie, that that's perfect for me. And other day I might feel no, 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 there's something much better. So it's not always about the thing, it's what is true and present for us in this moment. And we live in the moment because this moment is all we have, is all there is. So we live with what resonates in the moment, and we keep ourselves playful and free and flowing with what's present, and we keep it moving.
And
um,
that's what I what I would like to add on that is that we sometimes can, especially when we are in the void, keep ourselves in certain patterns and certain loops where we kind of even fall back into victimhoods. Because for XYZ, we're feeling sorry for ourselves. So, yes, we're watching that movie because in that moment it feels comfortable, it feels safe, it feels something that I know, and it's a bit of a freeze at times. And then the next morning, or afternoon, or evening, we repeating that because we are so used in that comfort, and again, the unknown is scarier than the known. So the nugget here for me really is like giving ourselves enough spaciousness, like to be there at times, but also knowing when it has been enough. Also knowing when we bring back the leader, when we bring back the goddess and the priestess and all the archetypes that are out there, and like, okay, I'm the quantum creator. I've seen myself looping now for 5 days in a row. I think it has been enough. Like it's that balance of the human and the soul again, of like inwards, outwards, like yes, spaciousness, yes, feminine, but again, when it's becoming visible and these patterns, like we constantly changing identities, right? In a way that we letting go of old identities and old stories and embodying new versions of ourselves. So we are constantly in that way also alchemizing and releasing old patterns that no longer serving the new version that we are embodying or anchoring into. So it's that playfulness and that spaciousness of like, okay, now it's enough. And that is important because otherwise we keep looping and we are not leaving the loop. We actually keep going in the same circle. And for me here, really leadership codes are coming in, like then taking back that accountability, taking back that ownership. Um, and playing in playful ways, moving with the energetics.
I love I love our weaving back and forth because it's so yummy and hilarious. Uh, it's like we go like we almost touch one extreme and then the other, and then we like okay, let's stay centered in the middle, you know.
Yes, yes.
I
But
love
I
that.
think that is also very how we kind of weave because we can be quite opposite of each other. That's in a way how why it works. That's in a way why it's also feeling sometimes a bit more challenging because we are like whew, doing this and then we bringing that again like back into center. So there is a lot of contrast in that, and it's about finding that balance, and I think that's the beauty of it. Where we both often coming in like one very masculine and one very feminine, and then we're like, okay, so what's the way in between in those energetics, in those
Uh-huh.
frequencies?
Uh-huh. And I love what you shared about the accountability. That's so hilarious. And in Capricorn season, that's the word right now, that accountability. So it's like sometimes it's okay if I'm like, I feel very feminine. I don't want to go to the gym, for example, for me. And then I'm like, yeah, but it's been 3 days and you've used that excuse for 3 times now. It's not gonna work this time. You're gonna get up your ass and just go there, you know? And so it's so funny because it is finding that balance. It is finding that balance. So it is what I was saying, which is living in the moment. So right now I might not feel like going to the gym, but then if those moments add up to like never going, then I actually need to like wait a minute, let's structure, let's ground back again. So it's, yeah, we weave in the moment, but in the moment, as you weave and you honor your flow, you also need to honor like, where's your flow been? Is that taking you where you want to go, or do you actually need to shift something? And just like with everything, when a train is going super fast in this direction, for it to then move in this direction, it takes like some momentum because it had so much how do you say it was going so fast in that direction that it takes a while to catch up, to shift. And so staying kind of in the middle while seeing and allowing space for all those perspectives and extremes and opposites, but kind of staying centered. For me, it's what's really been helping me, like the spirituality and the human, the masculine and the feminine, like this perspective or that perspective. Okay, but also having like discernment and self-reflection, um to see what are the consequences of our choices, and is that taking us to where we want to go? Does that feel aligned, or actually do I need to shift something? And it's that accountability in every moment, that I am the creator. Yes, it's okay that I've created this, but maybe if I want to change something, that I need to also do that. um so this weaving is like like I find it hilarious, our weaving together. It's hilarious, like I laugh so much like with myself through our interactions. and the mirror that you hold for me, and how it's hilarious, like how our energies play together with these different perspectives, and then finding like the middle ground and the center of clarity in all of that. Um, has been like a real blessing for me and for my human, and something that I appreciate more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, I want to still allow spaciousness if there's something else for us to share, but I'm really feeling like pinning at the end of this sharing. Um, it's really present in my field right now, which you said, which has been coming up a lot, but I didn't know we were going to talk about that on this slide. And then you said it, and I was like, yeah, which is our frequency is our currency. And what I want to invite everyone to do, if that's something you feel like doing, again, your sovereign choice, you do whatever you want. It's, what does it mean to you? What do you think about, what do you think it means that my frequency is my currency? How does that look like for you? How does that resonate? How does that feel? And I also want to offer like a side note with that, which is, what does it mean for you to show up? Because it can mean different things at different times. And also weaving the playfulness, and again, just take it if it resonates with the energetics of the Capricorn and the Cancer for Moon, which are opposite zodiac signs, which is, sometimes showing up might be to make that effort to go to the gym, to go do something even if I don't really feel like doing, to show up for others. And maybe sometimes showing up just means being in that void and closing everything so that I can just meditate and be with myself. So, what does it mean for you to show up? What does it mean for you to show up? And what does it mean for you that your frequency is your currency? And how do you feel these two things, showing up and your frequency is your currency, how do they interact and play and integrate with each other? Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Hmm. So, in terms of like, we have been working a lot already with our frequency as a currency, of course. What I would like to add on that is that this also really brings it back to us as the quantum creators, to us as sovereign beings making that choice constantly, and also the spaciousness of like, okay, I'm having a bad day and I'm actually feeling angry and frustrated, and that's okay. I'm going to give myself the spaciousness. I'm going to slam some pillows on my bed or whatever we want to release it. And at the same time, that's just a moment in time. Like the moment we are alchemizing it, the moment that we are releasing it, it's already in the past. So how long is our human then holding on to that frequency? Because we can literally shift in a blink of an eye, but sometimes like it requires a little bit longer to be in that space. So to allowing ourselves that spaciousness, but always coming back to the knowing, to the inner knowing, to the embodiment of my frequency is our currency, or is my currency. This is how we are manifesting world. This is how we are manifesting our outer reality. It is from within. It is from how we are admitting and what we are anchoring into and what we embody. So it's like the knowing of that, like for me, it was like reclaiming back a lot of the power that felt lost over like years growing up, because this is not something we learned, right, in school or whatsoever. So reclaiming that, like really embodying that, like as one of like a deep truth to me, like my frequency is my currency. That itself is life changing, because that itself takes back the ownership of our reality, of our life, of our manifestations, of our experiences. That itself takes back the responsibility and the accountability to ourselves completely as the quantum creators. So there's so many layers in that beautiful, in the beautiful questions that you also just shared for everyone to feel into. And it's divine wherever you are in the journey of feeling that as an inner knowing, of feeling that in an embodied way, because it is the journey we are taking. It is part of our ascension. It's part of our personal growth and evolution to embody those like codes and wisdom as it feels aligned with who we are in that moment and who we are shifting into. And it's the journey. So again, let's allow that journey to be fun and to be joyful and to be pleasurable, instead of like, oh, my frequency is my currency and I'm feeling very angry, I'm feeling very upset and I'm stressing and like, oh, like, oh, no, like take a step back and like relax. I know this and I have this awareness, and then start working with it in a playful way, in a light way. Because otherwise we are holding on to something again, and it's like eating us up, not in a good way. So that lightness and that playfulness, again, I keep saying this, I really feel 2023 is about that, is about fun, is about the pleasure aspect, is about flow and that balance. So yeah, I would love like for everyone to fill in into the questions that Maddie asked, and also share your answers with us in the comments, or if you feel more comfortable reaching out to any of us personally, then to send us a DM, because there's a lot of wisdom and feeling into that, what it means for you personally in this now moment. And you can play with just that and those questions, ooh, so much, in setting your intentions and going into this new year with more clarity, with more direction.
Oh, there's not even anything else I want to add, because I can keep on talking forever. And there are so many nuggets and so many things I could go back to that you just shared. But I just want to leave it at that, because that was beautiful. And yeah, it feels great to end it like that, with that reflection. Um, so this is our invitation for you to tune in, and like I'm already looking forward to listening to this live again, because there's so much there that I know, like I'm gonna be like, oh, like so many insights and other realizations. And I'm just gonna say this thing, which is, we are always shifting. So you can ask yourself that question right now after watching this live, and you have one thing that resonates for you, and tomorrow something completely different might come up for you. Just honoring right now in this moment, like, what does it mean for you right now, and share it with us. And if it shifts in 1 day or 2 days, let us know. Like, that's so much fun to acknowledge that we constantly shifting. We don't need to hold on to what just happened. I'm here right now. That was just gone. Like, now I'm here, and now I just have a different perspective about it.
I love that. Yes, thank you for placing that in the field. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Like I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to listening back to this, because there's so much. And I'm excited already for the next ones. So thank you for thank you for sharing, and thank you for being like so playful and graceful and brave and beautiful, sharing the alchemy you just went through. Because there was like so much elegance and beauty in the way that you shared it, because you have already, like you said before, you have already gone through it and now you feel comfortable sharing about it. So maybe if it was too early, your sharing would be different, but right now it was very beautiful and elegant, and you brought in all the golden nuggets that you received. So I really want to celebrate you and appreciate you for that. And
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's to come. Just celebrating this moment right now. Thank you.
Yay, yay. And we will be going live more often, right? Just to add
Uh-huh.
that for everyone. So
Mm-hmm.
the idea is that, yeah, we will be sharing more of these lives and just diving into the energy which is present for us in those moments, right? But then also for the collective, of course. So I love these viewings, so I'm really looking forward to everything that's going to unfold. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, we're gonna be live a lot more times, and like this is the weaving. It's this in the moment flow that we weave back and forth, back and forth. So you are most welcome to join us. Keep in touch to find us where we go live again, and just wishing all of us a beautiful day, a beautiful year, whether it's a Gregorian calendar or whatever. Like, just wishing you a beautiful moment, beautiful reflections, and beautiful blessings to your life. And thank you. And I love you. And we're in this together. Bless you. Bless you. Bless us all.
Yay. Hi,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.